Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Union Baseball Softball Complex here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi everybody, Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. So happy to be bringing you this game between the visiting Baldwinsville Bruins and your Union Red Hawks. This should be a good one. The Union Red Hawks and Bartlesville Bruins more or less evenly matched offensively. Tonight's question will be the pitching. On the mound for Bartlesville is Lexi DeReo, who is a 3 ERA, a whip of 1.13. Lily Hance on the mound for the Red Hawks, a 9.49 ERA for her. However, that being said, it should be noted as well that Union's fielding independent pitching as a whole is only 4.24. So will the fielding come in clutch for the Red Hawks tonight? Only one way to find out, and that is to stick around here with us on the Union Sports Network. We'll have the anthem and starting lineups coming up in just a moment as the umpires and the head coaches are currently meeting. So stick around. We will be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Good evening and welcome to the Union Softball Complex on the campus of the Union Freshman Academy for tonight's game between the Union Red Hawks and the Bartlesville Lady Bruins. Here's the starting lineup for Bartlesville. Sitting off playing first base, the second baseman, Chloe Robbins. Center fielder number 8, Chelsea Goddard. Shortstop number 42, Allie Skalal. Batting clean up the right fielder, number 11, Emerson Casey. Batting fifth, the second baseman, number 17, Isabel Daniels. Batting sixth, the pitcher, number 9, Lexi DeReo. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 28, Parker Fielder. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 20, Lola Reddington. Batting ninth, the designated player, number 22, Savannah Alden. Playing left field tonight, number 7, Maddie Kaya. And now here's the starting lineup for your Union Red Hawks. Leading off the shortstop, number 3, Trinity Scott. Batting second, the catcher, number 1, Estrella Ramirez. Batting third, the center fielder, number 6, Lily Hance. Batting clean up the pitcher, number 2, Kat Gibson. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 18, Lily Taylor. Batting sixth, the designated player, number 9, Lily Ford. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 20, Tegan Williams. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 12, Sine Ramirez. Batting ninth, the right fielder, 00, Jocelyn Williams. And the left fielder tonight for Union, number 10, Danny Perez. At this time, we ask that you please rise and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. you. Reminder that tonight's game is being broadcast online on the Union Sports Network. To watch tonight's game or previous Union sporting events, go to unionsportsnetwork.com. That's unionsportsnetwork.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Union Baseball Softball Complex for the start of this game between the visiting Bartlesville Bruins and your Union Redhawks. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. On the mound tonight for the Redhawks is Kat Gibson with a 9.08 ERA, a 2.47 whip in 24 2/3 innings pitched. She has allowed 9 walks and struck out 10. And leading off for the Bartlesville Bruins will be Chloe Robbins. Now, you might have expected an earlier start time for this game. It got pushed back about 3 hours due to the heat. With the heat index today, with the heat index today, there were fears that it could be 118 degrees outside. And we pretty much got there. Now Robbins will settle into the left side of the box, and we are underway. Attempts a bunt, pulls back. And slapped down the third base side, but foul. Robbins, a dangerous hitter, batting .500 in this season so far, an on-base percentage of .545. That being said, she is yet to have an extra base hit. And attempts to bunt for one. Throw to the first baseman is off the mark, and Robbins will have to hustle back to first. She is on board with a single. That'll bring up Chelsea Goddard.
Center fielder number 8, Chelsea Goddard.
Not the way that Union wanted to start this contest off. Fielding will be the big question throughout this game. As Goddard tries to lay down the bunt, and Robbins will take second successfully. No throw from the catcher. And speed is one of Bartlesville's biggest weapons. They have stolen 29 bases on the season. Union, for comparison, has only stolen 6. And she takes off for third. Throw is dropped by the catcher Ramirez, and Robbins has swiped 2 bags in 2 pitches. The Bruins coming out of the gate swinging already. Except not literally. Now the count's 1-2. And Goddard is on the back foot. Outside for a ball. And the 2-2 hit weakly foul. So already a runner on third. As Gibson gears up. And that's hit right back to Williams. Throws across the diamond, gets the out, and looks the runner back to third.
Batting the shortstop, number 42, Ali Scalal.
The 5-3 brings up Ali Scalal. Scalal batting .300, the only player on the Bruins to have hit a home run this season. Catches the outside corner for the first strike. The field lights already on as we're already into dusk. Gibson floats that one in there. And now Scalal behind 0-2. Tries to fool her, but she cannot catch the outside corner, and this at-bat continues. Weakly hit down the first base side, foul. Now, Union actually had a last-minute pitching change. Lily Hance was scheduled to start this game until just a few minutes before we started. And Skalal hits one into right field. Underneath it is Williams, who makes the catch, but now the run comes home. The tag from Ramirez is off, nowhere near the runner, and Robbins scores. It is 1-0.
Batting the right fielder, number 11, Emerson Casey.
Emerson Casey comes up, the right fielder, batting .350 this year. First pitch high. Now, Union only has 2 pitchers on the team, so it was pretty much set in stone that if Hance couldn't pitch, Gibson was going to, but still, that's got to get on your nerves as a pitcher. You prepare well in advance for a start, and Gibson did not have that opportunity today. Casey hits it on the short porch in center field. That drops in for a Texas leaguer. And that'll bring up
number 17, Isabel Daniels.
Isabel Daniels. Runner goes. And the throw goes off the glove of Scott and into center field. It's not too often you see the number 4 hitter stealing bases, but here we are. As mentioned before, that is one of Bartlesville's greatest strengths. They are a speedy, speedy team. And the runner thinks of going again, but holds off. 0-2 now to Daniels. Outside, 1-2. Hit off the base of the bat. Quickly throws over to first and gets out number 3. The Red Hawks escape, surrendering 1. Could have been a lot worse. And that'll bring us to the bottom of the first. We'll be right back in just a moment with more of this 6A contest. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. The bottom of the first is upon us, and Trinity Scott will lead things off for the Union Red Hawks. Lexi Terreo, the pitcher for Bartlesville, a 113 whip, An ERA of 3 walks, and 17 strikeouts. She is an absolute fireballer.
Shortstop number 3, Trinity Scott.
Now Scott batting .308 as she settles in to the left side of the box. Fouls off the first pitch she sees. Scott, not the most patient hitter. Sees an average of 2.9 pitches per at-bat. As long as she gets on base, that's what matters. But she's now behind 0-2. Scott settles back into the box. DeReo kicks, deals. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, the umpire says. And this at-bat continues. Scott got lucky. And pokes it to Reddington, who throws across the diamond, and it misses Robbins. Scott is on base with an E5. And the ball went out of play. She gets second base as well.
Batting the catcher number 1, Estrella Ramirez.
A couple of lucky breaks for Trinity Scott brings up Estrella Ramirez. Ramirez, the catcher in this contest, batting .286. Tries to lay down the bunt, misses. Ramirez, part of one of 2 sets of siblings on the Red Hawks roster. Her sister Sinai playing second base. And the bunt goes foul, 0-2. Union, of course, notable for being an extremely young team. Swing and a miss, and DeReo has her first punch out of the game.
Batting the center fielder number 6, Lily Hance.
Now Lily Hance steps up to bat. Hance playing center field tonight. As previously mentioned, she was scheduled to pitch until the very last moment. Hance with 7 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, but 7 RBIs in those 7 hits. Those 7 hits and RBIs come in just 10 games. On the ground to Robbins, the first baseman, who steps on the bag for the out, but the runner does advance to third.
Now batting the pitcher number 2, Kat Gibson.
Now here's the pitcher, Kat Gibson. She's batting .400. No wonder that she's not getting hit for. Outside strike, 0-1. And there's a chopper to the second baseman. Daniels throws over to first, gets her by a step. Run does not score, and that ends the first inning. We're going to hear a couple of messages from our sponsors now. Thank you so very much for joining us here on the Union Sports Network.
At Coldwell Banker Select, we have the group to meet your commercial real estate needs, the Select Commercial Group. David Roberts can answer all your questions relating to the commercial real estate market, your business operations, and real estate budgets. Sarah Bergeson can help you locate the right commercial property to buy, sell, lease, or rent. Scott Job can provide valuable information regarding property values and lease rates. We treat our clients like family. With properties located all over the state, call us at 918-695-6979. Coldwell Banker Select Commercial Group, proud sponsor of the Union High School Red Hawks.
Sitting out for Bartlesville in the second, the pitcher number 9, Lexi DeReo.
The pitcher, Lexi DeReo, to hit now for Bartlesville after Kat Gibson grounded out to second to end the bottom of the first. Now we're back with the top of the second. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. As the pitchers stare each other down, Gibson attempts the off-speed approach. And DeReo hits it right back to Scott, who fires across the diamond, a bullet to get DeReo by 2 steps.
Batting the catcher, number 28, Parker Fielder.
The 6'3 brings up Parker Fielder. Fielder, the catcher, batting .375. And hit back to Scott, this time misplays it. Throw is off the mark, and the runner will have to stay at first. But a clean base hit for Parker Fielder. First time was the charm, second time not quite so much. Now Lola Reddington will step up. Did not see much action in the first part of the season, now finally in the lineup. And the runner goes. Throw from Ramirez goes into center field. And Parker Fielder fuels the Bruins' base path kleptomania. Popped up, in play. Gibson calls for it, brings it down.
And batting the designated player, number 22, Savannah Alden.
Now it's the number 9 batter, Savannah Alden, yet to have a hit in this season. Both the Bruins and the Redhawks, comparatively similar hitting teams, as that was inside, but essentially a pitch out. Got to keep the runner honest on second. The Bruins batting .314 this season, but the Redhawks .297. Their on-base percentage almost identical, only 4 points away. .397 for the Bruins, .393 for the Redhawks. Slugging percentage, same story. .379 for the Bruins, .370 for the Redhawks. So essentially, they are equally good hitting teams. Off the handle of the bat, goes foul, 2-1. And Alden hits one on into left field for her first hit of the year. 1 run scores. An RBI single for Savannah Alden.
Batting the first baseman, number 4, Chloe Robbins.
2-0, the Bruins up, bringing up their number 1 hitter, Chloe Robbins. Number 1 in both a lineup and batting average. And a slap hitter to boot, it seems. Savannah Alden, her first hit and her first RBI of the season. Lays down a bunt, does Robbins, that goes foul. Clearly, manager Kyle Minton of Baldwinsville promoting something of a small ball mindset in this team. Small ball wins ball games. May not be the most exciting. That one is outside. You may not get to see too many dingers, but really at the end of the day, it's a manager's job to win. And you know what? When you see that incredibly complex plan come together, that game plan of small ball, I think it's just as exciting sometimes. That one's hit to the shortstop, and Scott doesn't do much with it, but now there's a runner caught in a rundown. And Alden gets caught snoozing on the base paths. That's 3 outs.
Second stand is open. Looking behind the first base dugout. Lots of food choices over there tonight. Hamburgers, hot dogs, Frito chili pie, nachos. Lots of cold drinks to choose from as well. Be sure to check it out. Look it on the first base dugout. The new concession stand. Sitting out for Union in the bottom of the second, first baseman number 18, Lily Taylor.
Union's 5, 6, 7 hitters up to bat, starting with Lily Taylor, who is by far the most dangerous hitter on this Union roster. Umpire stopping for a water break, and that's very important considering the heat. Once again, this game's supposed to start 3 hours earlier than it actually did. It was delayed because it was supposed to be 120 degrees out today. Couldn't have been more than 118. Blazing Saddles fans will get that one. And Lily Taylor shows why she has a .550 batting average. She is aboard with the first clean base hit of the day for the Red Hawks.
Batting the designated player number 9, Lily Ford.
Now Lily Ford will try to follow that performance. There are 3 Lilies in the starting lineup for the Union Red Hawks tonight. Lily Hance, Lily Taylor, and Lily Ford. There's a full bouquet on the field. Ford batting .357. Inside. Wisely laying off. Lily Ford swings and misses. Uncharacteristically, she is an opposite field type of hitter. Mixing it up between ground balls, line drives, fly balls, you really never know exactly where it's going to go. Hard to study game tape for as it's 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
The third baseman, number 20, Tegan Williams.
Strikeout number 2 on the day for Lexi DeReo as Tegan Williams settles into the box. Takes the first strike she sees. Unusual batting stance, stepping in the bucket. And there's a Texas leaguer. That could be a little bit of trouble. Runner is safe on second. Should have been a force.
Batting the second baseman, number 12, Sine Ramirez.
So the runners advance. And Sine Ramirez up to bat. One of the few lefties in the lineup lays down a bunt. Perfectly placed and misplayed by Reddington. Bases are loaded with just one out. A perfect bunt by Sine Ramirez. And that'll bring out manager Kyle Minton for a mound visit. As we were saying earlier, the Red Hawks an equal offensive force to the Bartlesville Bruins.
Now batting for the Red Hawks, the right fielder, 00, Jocelyn Williams.
The Red Hawks 4-6 on this season. The Bruins 3-8. Now to number 9 batter, Jocelyn Williams. Williams has struggled offensively this year. Fouls off the first pitch he sees. The Red Hawks had a interesting homestand over the weekend, the Union Owasso Festival. They went 1-2 during that time. As Williams takes a big hack and has nothing to show for it. But before the weekend and afterwards, hitting-wise, Union's batting average went up, their slugging percentage went down slightly, but all their advanced metrics, things like quality at-bats, pitches seen per at-bat, all of them up. But there's a swinging strikeout for Williams. That is her 5th strikeout of the year.
And batting the shortstop, number 3, Trinity Scott.
Now Trinity Scott, who got to second on an E5 in her first at-bat, starts off her second. And a chopper over to Rayo, and the force at second base by Skalal. Good heads-up fielding will send us to the second inning. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Racing towards the end of the month? Ask about our early pay options. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Coming out for Bartlesville in the third. Center fielder number 8, Chelsea Goddard.
A heartbreaking bottom of the second for the Union faithful as they put 3 on and had nothing to show for it. It is 2-0 as we head to the top of the third. Chelsea Goddard leading off, and that pitch is over her head. Goddard very thankful right now that she isn't about 3 inches taller. Though she would have gotten a free base out of it. Holds off, it's 1-1. Goddard grounded out to third base in her first time up. Holds off for the ball at the hands. And again. Now, I mentioned the Union Owasso Festival right before the break, and Bartlesville had a couple of surprises out of it. Beat Tahlequah 9-2 and beat Broken Arrow 8-6. And that is off of Goddard's helmet.
And batting the shortstop, number 42, Ali Skalal.
It seems that Gibson didn't get her the first time, but she did the second time. And Ali Skalal will step up now. Had a sacrifice fly and her first time up to the plate. At least she got her with an off-speed pitch. in there for a strike. Now, if you get hit by a pitch at the Union Baseball Softball Complex, you cannot rub some dirt on it because that's not real dirt in the infield. Attempted bunt for a hit is a strike. That's an artificial turf infield. You can't rub dirt on it. But then again, it always brings up the inevitable great debate of, do you not rub it or do you rub some dirt on it? Because you hear both, but you can't do both at the same time. As a baseball player in my younger days, sometimes I heard coaches say don't rub it, sometimes I heard coaches say rub some dirt on it. Always left me confused. I don't know about you. Escalal grounds to the third baseman, gets the force at second. So Escalal aboard of the fielder's choice.
Batting right fielder number 11, Emerson Casey.
Emerson Casey up to bat now. Casey singled and stole a base in her first time to the plate. Weekly hit back to the pitcher, and they cannot get her at second base. Throw is high. So Casey aboard, and Scalal to second.
Second baseman number 17, Isabel Daniels.
Depending on your interpretation of the rules, that may or may not be an error. But errors are something that Union has struggled with, as that is fielded by Hance. Tries to gun her down at third base.
Now batting the pitcher, number 9, Lexi Dureo.
So the sacrifice fly moves the runner. Runners at the corners now for the pitcher, Dureo. Union came into this game with 23 errors in 10 games on the season. Fielding percentage of just .898. And it is certainly a spot that this team will improve on as time goes on. This is a very young roster, as Casey steals another bag. That is their 5th stolen base of the game. I just had to double check my math. I can't believe that's accurate. Dureo pops it up, Hance underneath it, brings it down, and Bartlesville cannot add on to their total. We head to the bottom of the third. It is still 2-0.
Hitting off of the Red Hawks in the bottom of the third. The pitcher, number 1, Estrella Ramirez.
Estrella Ramirez will lead off the bottom of the third for Union. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. As Dureo fires, and that's outside. Of course, it takes a large team to put this one together. Andy Irwin, our producer. Sydney also producing today. Combination of professionals and student volunteers bring you the Union Sports Network, and we take great pride in our broadcasting capability. Here's 1-1. Make that 1-2. In there, strike 3. And Estrella Ramirez frozen. That is her second strikeout of the game.
Now batting the center fielder, number 6, Lily Hans.
As a batter, there is so little you can do with a pitch like that. Just handcuffs you. Strike in the low part of the zone. It's a trapdoor fastball. So Lily Hance up to bat now. And Hance with a hot shot right back to Daniels. Here comes the
pitcher, number 2, Kat Gibson.
Here comes the pitcher Gibson. And there's 2 outs in quick succession. And if you're a pitcher like DeReo, this is exactly what you're hoping for. Fresher she can stay, the deeper into this game she can go. Misses the zone with the ball. As you can probably tell, Union is not a team that misses the ball too much. Their contact percentage, 81.8%. Team has a good eye. Just a matter of putting it in play, finding the gaps. Did not make contact there, though. Was that me? Was that the announcer's curse? Well, that's the other 19 or so percent in that total. There's some contact up the middle. And Gibson on board with her first hit of the game.
First baseman, number 18, Lily Taylor.
Taylor now 1 for 1 as we'll get a courtesy runner.
Courtesy runner at first, number 17, Liz Robbins.
Yes, Liz Robbins. Robbins has only appeared as a pinch runner this season. Her last game was against Wagner on the 18th. She scored twice. Taylor, he's a mighty hack. DeReo taking her time, setting the pace, and missing the strike zone on top of it. That's the perpetual war between hitter and pitcher, both trying to control the pace of the at-bat. And Taylor, once again, comes up empty. Taylor, one of only 2 hitters for Union who's hit a home run this season, 10 RBIs. And Taylor sends one skyward, right center field. Underneath it is Goddard without number 3. We head to the 4th now. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Union Sports Network.
We're athletes.
Coaches.
And your child's high school athletic trainer.
We're your friends and neighbors.
And we make our home
in green country.
Like you, we run.
And fish.
Hike.
And bike.
We enjoy the mountains.
and lakes.
So we know how important
Staying active is to you. Staying active is to you.
We're physicians
and therapists
Our groundbreaking treatments
are helping you heal faster.
Helping you heal faster.
We're Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma.
And we're the team physicians for more universities,
More high schools,
and more club teams
than all other providers combined.
We're focused on providing you
personalized orthopedic care.
Personalized orthopedic care.
Treating the area's best teams.
And the athlete in all of us.
And the athlete in all of us.
Fielder will lead off for Bartlesville. Got a single and scored her first time up. Finally digs in. Bruins ahead 2-0 as Fielder fouls it off. An extended call for time there from Fielder, who finally settles back in, floats in, and that hits her on the hand. Or does it? Well, she tried to sell it as such, but she is sent back to the batter's box. It's 0-2. Hey, as a hitter, you got to take every advantage you can get. Whether or not it comes by honest means, that's just part of the game. Misses the plate outside. That's just one of the strange unwritten rules about the game, is that if you can get away with it, then you got it. Once again outside. And Fielder clawing her way back into this at-bat. Gibson deals. Weakly hit, and the third baseman Williams comes over to make the catch.
And batting the third baseman, number 20, Lola Reddington.
Now it's Reddington, who popped up to the pitcher when she last came up to bat. And this time she finds the hole between third and short, goes into left field. Perez hits the cutoff man, and that is the first base hit of the year for Lola Reddington.
The designated player, number 22, Savannah Alden.
Alden got her first hit of the year the last time she was up, but then got caught on the base paths, head in the clouds. Run around first inside. Now you got to give Gibson props for pitching inside. A lot of pitchers at this level afraid to do so. Afraid of hitting too many batters. Gibson has hit one today, but other than that, she only has 6 in total on the season. And Alden crushes one, center field, going back. Hance loses it, goes up against the batter's eye. That's a double. Runner safe on third as well. Biggest hit of the day for the Bartlesville Bruins.
Courtesy runner at second, number 7, Maddie Kaya. Now batting, first baseman, number 4, Chloe Robbins.
Robbins steps up to bat, and Maddie Kaya comes into courtesy run for Alden. Alden actually the designated player for Chaya, who is playing left field for the Bruins. Now here comes the slap hitter Robbins. 2 runners in scoring position. Lays down the bunt. And the batter is out. She was out of the box when she hit it.
Center fielder number 8, Chelsea Goddard.
So I believe that's ruled batter's interference if you're keeping score at home. And as always, if you're keeping score at home, I just have to ask why. Too high. Ball 1 to Chelsea Goddard. 1-0 I shouldn't make fun of people who keep score at home. It must be a good way to watch the game. I've seen people do it in the ballpark. I've done it before. As Goddard hits one into the outfield, hands underneath it, brings it down, 3 outs. Baldwinsville still keeping this a 2-0 game against the Redhawks. And while we have this moment, I would like to point out, I was doing some research before this game, and we came this close to a historic moment in this game. Believe it or not, we almost had something that has not happened in, according to my research, at least 100 years. Because on Bartlesville's roster, number 13 is Nani Takahashi. Now, I don't know too much Japanese, but I do know that Nani is Japanese for what? Had she been in the lineup today, there was a chance that what would be on second. Now, for those of you who are not aware, the great Abbott and Costello sketch, perhaps the most famous piece of baseball media ever created, Who's on First? The starting lineup is who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third. To my knowledge, no what has ever played second base in a professional or amateur game before. We could have seen history. We were on the verge of greatness. Who has been on first before? That is true. But what has never been on second, and we could have seen something amazing tonight.
Hitting off for Union in the fourth. Pinch hitter, number 13, Caitlin Bird.
Now we have a pinch hitter, Caitlin Bird. Hitting for Lily Ford. Bird in her last game 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. She holds off for a ball. Bird actually yet to put a ball in the air this season. In her 12 at-bats, 75% of the time she's put it on the ground, 25% of the time it's been a liner. Well, I should clarify, yet to put the ball in the air in fair territory this season. She clearly has plenty of power behind her bat, though, as those were 2 very hard-hit foul balls. And a third as well, and clearly she's an opposite field hitter. One and 2 count now. Swing and a miss, struck her out. That is strikeout number 5 for Lexi DeRayo. Is that Lexi DeRayo on the mound or Mike Tyson, because she is playing punch-out within the circle. Deegan Williams holds off. And Williams fouls it down the third base line. The mark of a good hitting team, the Red Hawks have an average of .297, but their batting average on balls in play is .353. Holds off high and at the hands. Williams is the most patient hitter on the Red Hawks roster. She holds off on another one. She averages 5 pitches per plate appearance. And as a batter, it is everything to try to stretch out those at-bats, wear the pitcher down. And she draws the first walk of the game for the Red Hawks.
Second baseman, number 12, Sine Ramirez.
Sine Ramirez now steps up to bat. Tegan Williams may be batting 125 this season, but you see why she's in the lineup. That is actually her first walk of the season as Ramirez hits it back to the pitcher, DeReo, gets the out at first, but the runner does move to second.
Batting the right fielder, 0-0, Jocelyn Williams.
Now it's the number 9 hitter, Williams. Bartlesville got 2 runs up in the first 2 innings, and the Red Hawks yet to be able to retaliate. They had their chance in the second, bases loaded, and somehow DeReo got out of that jam with a strikeout and then an unassisted ground out to the shortstop, who stepped on second for the force. Williams behind 0-2. She struck out her first time up. Misses with the ball. Of course, at second base, that's Isabel Daniels for Bartlesville. Not what. Still mad about that. Swing and a miss, strikeout number 6 for DeReo. And that will end the 4th inning. All but one of those strikeouts swinging. And Bartlesville will head into the 5th inning comfortably.
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the right way to film it is in slow motion. Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
We're happy that you're still sticking with us here on the Union Sports Network. Sam Gelfand holding it down here in the booth. Don't forget that our next broadcast is tomorrow at 6:30. Volleyball against Sand Springs. You're going to want to be there for that.
In the 5th, shortstop number 42, Ali Scalal.
Then on Thursday, we'll have football on the road at Westmore, down south of Oklahoma City. And then on Monday, the 28th, is our next softball contest. That's against Muskogee. As Ali Scalal starts off her at-bat with the ball. So we hope that you'll continue to join us here for this entire fall season on the Union Sports Network. Scalal grounds it foul down the left field line. Hit into right field. Williams underneath it. And there's one out. Emerson Casey up to bat now.
Right fielder, number 11, Emerson Casey.
Casey has had 2 singles and 2 stolen bases on the day. Watches the first pitch go by. Casey clearly a beast on the base paths, as are the rest of the Bruins. And that's 2 breaking balls for 2 strikes. Here comes Gibson. well out of the zone. Oklahoma is such a destination for softball. The quality of play here, very good. As that one is hit deep but foul down the left field line. Of course, the Softball Hall of Fame and its respective complex, home of the Women's College World Series down in Oklahoma City. And when you have something like that, its effects just reverberate throughout the entire state and raises the quality of play throughout the entire state. As that is hit on one bounce to Williams, who has trouble coming down with it. That is a clean base hit and a double to boot. Emerson Casey with the second double of the game for the Bruins.
Now batting the second baseman, number 17, Isabel Daniels.
That brings up Daniels, who is yet to reach base today. Now, it's still a safe situation for Bartlesville, and the last thing that Union wants is for this game to get out of hand, as Casey is looked back to second. Inside. And Casey really trying to get the proper jump on Ramirez. And now it's a hitter's count, 3-0. Gibson surrenders her first walk of the game, and she does so on 4 pitches.
And batting the pitcher, number 9, Lexi Dureo.
Now the pitcher, Dureo, hopes to help her own cause do some damage up to bat. She is 0 for 2. Grounded out to short in her first at-bat, flew out to center in her second. Runners go as there's a wild pitch, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position. Inside for a strike. The heat outside still oppressive. It was capped out at about 104 on the thermometer, but the heat index capped out at 118 today. Dureo hits it to Williams, misplays it. Will have to settle for keeping the runner on third. It's an E5 that puts Dureo on base. Courtesy runner on first as well. That's Demery Claybaugh running for the pitcher Dureo, and Parker Fielder will come up to bat. Fielder singled in her first at-bat, stole a base, then scored, then popped out to the third baseman in her second at-bat. And clearly trying to slug it, but hits the first one foul down the right field line. You know, in a big situation like this, bases loaded, 1 out, a lot of players are going to try to swing for the fences here, but any coach will tell you just make contact. As long as you can put that ball in play, it's up to the base runners to do something with it. And it's a much less risky proposition as well. After all, that's the folly of power hitters, is that sure, you can hit them deep, but you're also striking out a lot more than you'd like to. Ichiro actually said once that he could hit 30 homers a year, except that it would mean that his batting average would go down to 240, and he figured he would be a more productive member of his team if he instead raised his batting average to 320 or so and then kept hitting singles. Swing and a miss, 2-2's the count. And hey, if whatever strategic advice Ichiro gives out, I'm taking it. The 2-2 fouled off. And fielder staying alive. Full count now, and I sincerely hope that the first period teachers for all of these athletes on the field will give them a little bit of grace tomorrow. This game's going late. Especially for Bartlesville. 90-minute drive back after this. Popped up to the pitcher, and no runners will be able to advance. If you're Gibson, you could have hoped for nothing better than that.
Batting the third baseman, number 20, Lola Reddington.
Now Reddington, who singled in her last at-bat, steps up. Nick, could you imagine being a Bartlesville player? You probably won't leave this ballpark till 10:30 or so. Hour and a half drive back. Still got class in the morning. But then again, high school is pretty much the only time where you can do that. I look back at how little sleep I got when I was in high school. I don't know how I did it. And Reddington hits one deep to left field, up to the track. Bringing it down is Perez, and crisis averted for the Union Redhawks. Bases loaded with one out, and they escape the jam unharmed. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth now. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network. Thank you so very much for sticking around for this one. Top of the order coming up now for the Redhawks. Starting with Trinity Scott here in the bottom of the fifth.
Hitting off for the Redhawks, bottom of the fifth. Shortstop number 3, Trinity Scott.
Runners left on base has been a story of this game. 9 runners left on base through 5 innings for the Bartlesville Bruins. 6 through 4 innings for the Union Redhawks. That's something these teams are going to have to cut down on, especially the Redhawks if they want to come back and win this one, as it's still just a 2-0 ball game. And Scott gets a tiny piece of it. Lays off the second pitch he sees. Softball under the Monday night lights, it's a wonderful thing. Off the catcher's glove, 2-1. Scott grounded out to short in her last at-bat. That was all the way back in the second inning. Now a friendly 3-1 count for Scott. She has walked 3 times this season, struck out twice. And she will take her base.
Now batting the catcher, number 1, Estrella Ramirez.
Estrella Ramirez now peruses to the platter. Struck out twice, does not do so there. That barely stays fair. And now the runner has to get back to second quickly. She is safe. Nearly a dangerous situation, but Ramirez moves over the runner into scoring position.
Now batting the center fielder, number 6, Lily Hance.
Now Lily Hance, who is yet to reach base today, steps up. Runner on second, 1 out. In the dirt, Scott takes off for third. Throw pops out of the glove. She is safe. And one might say this is the Red Hawks' best chance to score. It was kind of hard to top bases loaded with 1 out back in the second inning. But it's the best chance since then. Now, there's a discussion between DeRayo and the umpire. And Hance back into the box. Watches the pitch go by. 1-1. Nothing wrong with taking your first strike, even in a situation like this. Chopper through the gap. 1 run scores. The Union Red Hawks are on the board courtesy of an RBI single by Lily Hance.
Now batting the pitcher, number 2, Kat Gibson.
Trinity Scott scores, bringing up Kat Gibson. She has a runner on first to work with and 1 out. Takes her first strike. Now that mound is looking slightly less daunting to climb for the Red Hawks. A 2-0 ball game and a 2-1 are so very different. Once you get a run on the board, all those jitters, all those nerves, they're all gone. Slapper to second, throws over to first, gets the out. Now there's 2 with the runner in scoring position.
Now batting the first baseman, number 18, Lily Taylor.
Now this is exactly who the Red Hawks would like to see up to bat. With the runner in scoring position, needing an extra run, Lily Taylor with 10 RBIs in 10 games, 11 hits on top of it, and a home run to boot, a .550 batting average. Swings and misses. Lily Taylor, the kind of hitter you can trust in your kitchen with some potatoes because all she does is mash. Calls for time, dictating the pace of the at-bat. A mature hitter she is. Misses the glove, and the runner is safe on third. Lily Hance advances on the second wild pitch of the inning by DeRayo. One and one, 2 outs. Fouled off. Now DeRayo's 1 strike away from getting out of a mess, but Taylor's going to be a hard obstacle in her way. And that is inside strike 3. Taylor goes window shopping for her 5th strikeout of the season. And we're heading to commercial. Thank you so very much for joining us here on the Union Sports Network. That gap is a little bit closer. It's 2-1. Baldwinsville still in the lead.
When summer heats up and your AC isn't working right, be cautious of being pressured into a replacement.
It's always a good idea to get a second opinion, and Airco will let you know if your AC is worth fixing.
So call Airco today for a free second opinion.
Still open.
Gibson still on the mound for the Red Hawks, and why not, considering the game that she has pitched so far. Allowed 2 runs. Not yet notched a strikeout, but only allowed 1 walk.
Hitting out for Bartlesville in the 6th. The designated player number 22, Savannah Alden.
And the big difference so far as Savannah Alden, the number 9 hitter, comes up is that for the most part, at least more so than most of this season, the defense has come to play behind her. Only 1 error committed so far by the Union Red Hawks, who usually commit at least 2 a game. And as highlighted at the beginning of this game, Gibson's ERA is 9.08, at least before this game. But the team's fielding independent pitching is 4.24. It's half that, which means fielding independent pitching essentially means that if you take out of consideration the play of the fielders, here's what the ERA would be. As there's a ball. In fact, if you want to look at some more advanced hitting metrics on this team in general, the hard hit ball percentage for Union's opponents only 29.6. So 70% of the time it's a weakly hit ball. That is hit well, though, to left center field underneath it. Perez, who makes the catch. We ended the top of the 5th with a fly out to left, and then we start the top of the 6th with a fly out to left.
And batting the first baseman, number 4, Chloe Robbins.
Now Robbins steps up, called out on batter's interference the last time she was up. She likes to bunt, and the third baseman, Williams, playing closely as a result. And she does drop it, goes right back to the catcher. It's in play, but she throws it over to Taylor to get the out.
The center fielder, number 8, Chelsea Goddard.
Now here comes Goddard, who is officially 0 for 2, but did reach base on a hit by pitch. Strike in there. Gibson been mostly an off-speed pitcher today, but she is mixing in the occasional fastball. And that is hit on the ground to Williams. Slings it to first for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Gibson, who is aging like a fine wine in this game. As time goes on, she's just getting better. We'll be back with the bottom of the 6th. The Union Red Hawks, though, running out of chances to score.
Hitting out for the Red Hawks. In the bottom of the 6th, the designated players. Number 9, Lily Ford.
Lily Ford back into the lineup for the Red Hawks. Was pinch hit for in the 4th inning as Ford struck out her first time up, but then Caitlin Bird, a replacement, also struck out, so they figure, why not go back to the well? DeRayo kicks, deals, and finds the strike zone. A huge 1-2-3 inning in the top of the 6th for the Red Hawks has clearly gotten them energized. Swinging strike. Ford playing with the sleeves rolled up, and in this heat, really can't blame her. Ford chops it on the ground to Skalal, throws over to first for the out. That'll bring up Williams.
Batting to third baseman, number 20, Tegan Williams.
Come to think of it, interestingly enough, most notable baseball and softball players who have played with the sleeves rolled up have been associated with the color red. Got it in the Red Hawks here. In Major League Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. was one of them. He was on the Cincinnati Reds. And the other one was also a Cincinnati Red, Ted Kluszewski, a slugger from the 50s who, kid you not, was so jacked that he could not fit into his uniform without cutting his sleeves off. What a unit. Strike 0-2. That's Tegan Williams up to bat, who had a single in her first at-bat, walked in her second. Wonder how many times Ted Kluszewski's been mentioned on a broadcast in the past decade. There's a swinging strikeout for Williams.
Now batting the second baseman, number 12, Sine Ramirez.
Now Ramirez, 1 for 2 in this game, and now she has 2 outs. And the Red Hawks really only have 4 outs to work with in order to try to score and keep this game going. Last game the Red Hawks played was on the 19th. They lost 8-0 to Broken Arrow. And as mentioned earlier, Bartlesville beat Broken Arrow shortly afterwards, 8-6. The Red Hawks are 0-3 in conference play. They've also not yet won a game against a 6A team this season. As Williams hits it on the ground to Reddington, throws over to first. That's a 1-2-3 inning for DeRayo. Trading off 1-2-3 innings, we head to the 7th and potentially final inning. Don't go anywhere.
Does your school or organization need athletic apparel or spirit wear? Let me suggest Inkwell, a Tulsa-based company that can get you the quality you deserve at unheard of and unmatched lead times. Talking 2 weeks or less, not 2 months like most others, and can do it as much as 60% less than most of the big guys out there. So join the likes of Sand Springs, Union, Broken Arrow, Jinx, Oolaga, and Glenpool, to name a few, and get your customized sublimated uniforms, including Under Armour, Nike, or Adidas, at InkwellNation.com.
Moving over Bartlesville in the 7th. Number 6, the shortstop, number 42, Ali Skalal.
We head to the 7th inning now here at the Union Baseball Softball Complex. Sam Gelfand here for the Union Sports Network as Ali Skalal will start things off. It's a 1-run game, and Union's games this season have not traditionally been this close. So you have to imagine that there's so much more pressure on their shoulders right now to close this one out and have a miraculous 7th inning comeback. As a pitcher, Gibson must feel the weight of the world on her shoulders right now. And if she starts struggling as it's 3-0, her replacement is currently playing center field. And that is not how Gibson wanted to start the 7th inning.
The right fielder, number 11, Emerson Casey.
Casey steps up to bat. Gibson's last time on the mound, she pitched for 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, and walked 2. Bunt potentially coming, third baseman playing close. Instead, she swings away. Shortstop gets underneath it. Scott with a catch.
The second baseman, number 17, Isabel Daniels.
Now here's Isabel Daniels, who reached base with a walk last time up. That was Gibson's first walk of the game. She has now walked 2. Runner takes off for second. Throw skips into the dirt and prevents the tag. So a stolen base for Skalal. That's her first stolen base of the game, and what is that, the 6th for Bartlesville? 6, I believe. Now an uppercut swing by Daniels gets right back to Hance and holds the runner.
Now batting the pitcher, number 9, Lexi Dureo.
2 outs and the pitcher comes up to bat. Dureo batting .389. Reached base on an E5 last time up. And Dureo over the head of Scott. Runner being waved around. That throw will not beat her. And a throw gets away from the catcher, but Dureo will hold up at second. It's 3-1. And for Bartlesville, that was huge. It's a 2-run game now.
Courtesy runner at second, number 44, Demery Claybaugh.
That's got to be a big morale crusher as well for the Red Hawks. As Dureo racks up an RBI, Skalal scores.
Pinch hitting number 51, Maddie Neighbor.
And Maddie Neighbor will pinch hit for the Bruins. Neighbor hasn't seen too much action, but she has been successful in the little that she has at the plate. Now, the mark of a good pitcher is how you come back from adversity. It's the last thing Gibson wanted to do, but how will she respond? As Neighbor fouls it off, it's 1-1. And the off-speed stuff fools her. Boy, that was a Thanksgiving swing from Neighbor, and all she got was Columbus Day. Weekly hit on the ground back to Gibson. Gets the out at first. And now the Red Hawks have 3 outs to work with to attempt a 2-run comeback to either send this to extras or send the crowd home happy.
Redhawks in the bottom of the seventh. Pinch hitter number 5, Tyson Hemphill.
9-1-2 batters coming up with 3 outs left to the Red Hawks potentially in this game, and they start with a pinch hitter. Kyson Hemphill will hit for Jocelyn Williams, who struck out twice. Hemphill with a batting average of .222, but an on-base percentage, more importantly, of .364. And also, if you want to look to quality at-bats, she has a quality at-bat 63.6% of the time. That is one of the highest marks on this team. What is a quality at-bat? It's a complicated explanation. I'm not sure we have time on this broadcast to explain, but just assume it's going to be quality. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a base hit or she gets on base, but it does mean that she improves their offensive outlook in some way. For instance, even if you get out but you go at least 6 pitches deep into an at-bat, that's still wearing the pitcher down. That helps your offense, and that's a quality at-bat. 1-2 now. Make it 2-2. Trying to get her high, but Hemphill able to hold off. Hemphill 0 for 1 in her last time out in the last game. That was against Broken Arrow. Fouls it off. It looks like this will qualify as a quality at-bat as well. Lexi DeReo still on the mound for the Bruins. Now, softball a little less taxing on pitchers' arms than baseball. That's why you see pitchers go deeper into games. Holds off, full count. Not to say that the underhanded motion doesn't hurt your arm, but it is much easier on the rotator cuff than the traditional baseball pitching motion. And Hemphill draws a walk. That is such a crucial walk. Maybe the biggest of the game for the Red Hawks. And Jocelyn Williams. Williams, after being pinch hit for, will now take Hemphill's place on the base paths. Now, Scott walked in her last time up. She's reached base 2 of the 3 times she's come up to the plate. And a crucial run is on first. It's not the tying run, but it's a good start if you're the Red Hawks. They need 2 to cross the plate to tie this one up, 3 to win it. As established, the Red Hawks a quality offensive team. This should be where they excel. And it gets away from the catcher. A wild pitch will move Williams. Now a runner in scoring position. This one just keeps getting interesting. Grounded foul down the third base line. And the Union bench coming alive. You know, the one thing I always appreciated about softball, all the coordinated chants that the players work out. I imagine there must be like some sort of team meeting where they all learn these at some point. They decide what they're going to use during the year. I mean, it's great for morale. It's great for team chemistry. I've seen some loud baseball teams, though. And Scott hits one into the right center field gap. They nearly collide, but it is brought down by the right fielder, Casey. Runner moves to third, and there's one out.
Now batting the catcher, number 1, Estrella Ramirez.
So the Red Hawks have 2 outs to play with, and Ramirez hoping to get on base for her first time this game, as we will have a mound visit from Kyle Minton, the manager for Bartlesville. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget that our next broadcast will be tomorrow at 6:30, volleyball against Sand Springs. We'll then have football Thursday for you on the road at Westmore. And then our next softball broadcast will be Monday the 28th against Muskogee. You're going to want to stick around for all of those, even though I won't be there for the football broadcast.
Union Sports Network. Watch this game or previous Union events, go to unionsportsnetwork.com. That's unionsportsnetwork.com.
Because we all know that you're here for me, not for Union, but show some love to the other guy, why don't you? I just want to clarify that was sarcastic. And there's a strike to Ramirez. Big swing, nothing to show for it, and now Ramirez behind 0-2. She has already struck out twice in this game. Once swinging, once looking, and she does not want to rack up a third. But she does. And now,
number 6, Lily Hance.
And now everything rests on the shoulders of Lily Hance, who is the tying run. She is up to bat. Singled in her last at-bat, brought in an RBI, the sole run of the game. For the Red Hawks anyway, as she watches the first strike go by. And Hance hits it in the air. Can of corn for Casey, and that's all she wrote. The Bartlesville Bruins hold on in a thriller. The Bartlesville Bruins hold on in a thriller, taking this one 3-1 against the Union Red Hawks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us here live on the Union Sports Network throughout this game. My name is Sam Gelfand, and on behalf of everyone here at the Union Sports Network, have a very good night wherever you may be.
Reminder, tomorrow, the next game for the Red Hawks,